Hey, welcome back to our Achievement Hunter series, aimed at swarming through the Stormwind gameplay achievements. We've handled the Warrior through Mage achievements a little better than a clumsy courier thus far, and this time there are 3 Hunter achievements ready to succumb to our carefully aimed shots. Let's get into it.
This should be interesting.
In today's video, we're covering the following 3 Hunter achievements. How many arrows do you have? Challenging us to deal 12 damage with our hero power in 1 turn as Hunter. Line of Succession, ultimately having us commit regicide and resurrect the Rat King 40 times. And Looking for Health Inspector, training us to summon or add 200 rats to our hand. Since none of these requires that we win games to complete, we can trap these with unusual tactics when it makes things more interesting or efficient. All our guides include timestamps for each achievement and deck codes for each deck mentioned in the description below in case you'd like to skip to one you're looking for. Now, let's flush these rodents out. Let's start by ensuring there's a clear line of succession for our Rat King. For this one, we just have to overthrow the Rat King and put him back on his throne 40 times. Since he's a beast, additional copies from Selective Breeder and Shando Wildclaw are possible, and he's fairly easy to pull from the deck with Scavenger's Ingenuity and Warsong Wrangler. And since he's a Death Rattle minion, you can summon even more copies of him thanks to Jewel of N'Zoth. So if you've got him in your collection, this will be a pretty straightforward one to complete. If you don't have him, he's quite strong in Arena, and one of our viewers, Zaf, mentioned that you can get him fairly consistently in duels buckets if you build a deck using Rodent Nest, Selective Breeder, Warsong Wrangler, and Northshire Farmer. He also mentioned that the Death Games Hero Power and Death Strider Treasure pair extraordinarily well with him to get excellent progress towards the achievement, especially if you can rotate the deaths of the Rat Kings one after another so that they each help each other come back to life. The same strategy of rotating the Rat King's death works wonders when playing on ladder as well. A deck we had a ton of fun to knock this out was this ROU, or rather ROES's deck from FunkiMonki. It includes all the targeted copy and draw cards we mentioned in the intro for the Rat King, but also includes Walpertinger and Encumbered Pack Mule, so that the Scavenger's Ingenuity and Warsong Wranglers still have something to hit if drawn after the Rat King. But with only 3 beasts in the deck, Selective Breeder and Warsong Wrangler will be guaranteed to grab the Rat King from the deck. We've had quite a bit of success with the deck, boasting a 63% win rate across 19 games. And the games with this were so much fun that we made a gameplay highlight which is linked up above and in the description. It's strong and efficient at getting progress towards this achievement as well as the next achievement, since it also runs Rats of Extraordinary Size. Though if you want a really fun wild deck to play for dual progress on this achievement as well as the next one, which performed surprisingly well against a variety of decks, this Unseal the Rats deck revisits the quest from Uldum to get extra value from summoning lots of tokens able to revive the Rat King. You'll notice that there aren't as many ways to get additional copies of the Rat King in this build. Getting a copy from Devouring Swarm is actually the only option. But that was due to this deck being built more for the purpose of completing the Summon 200 Rats achievement we'll look at next. However, the Rat King did pull his weight in this deck as well. We'll cover the rat synergies a bit more in depth in the next section here in a moment. Good luck ensuring there's always a good line of succession. Naturally, after talking about the Rat King, it's a good idea to talk about the achievement to summon a ton of rats. Looking for Health Inspector. The 2 rat generation cards we got with this set are Rats of Extraordinary Size and Rodent Nest. The deck from FunkiMonki covered a moment ago is also excellent for this achievement, but it doesn't run Rodent Nest. However, this Rats deck from Brian Kibler does. We made one minor adjustment to the deck, dropping a Jewel of N'Zoth for a second copy of Wraths of Extraordinary Size, so that progress towards the achievement could be sped up a bit. I must admit, I was pleasantly surprised to see a deck able to run Darkmoon Statue and Stormwind Piper somewhat effectively. If you're looking for a fun alternate way to summon a lot of rats in Standard, this deck is pretty interesting. Now, let's take a deeper look at the Unseal the Rats deck we introduced a moment ago. It runs Rodent Nest and Rats of Extraordinary Size alongside Devouring Swarm to generate lots and lots of rats across the course of the game. And those rats serve as a nice base for buffs from the quest reward hero power to overwhelm opponents. Since they have Rush, Swarm of Locust often felt better to play on an empty board. But when the board only had a few spaces, Rats of Extraordinary Size felt great. And with both 6-cost Floods alongside the Rodent Nest and Sindorai's Scent Finder as delayed Floods, any deck attempting to clear our board instead of going face found themselves facing unrelenting swarm after swarm. An awesome finisher we were able to use a couple times was dropping a Tundra Rhino alongside a few 5/5 rats added to our hand by Rats of Extraordinary Size. Again, this deck was a lot of fun to play and performed quite well. Have fun making the opponent feel like he needs to call an exterminator. Now for the achievement which doesn't involve rats. How many arrows do you have? Dealing 12 damage in a turn with your hero power is something hunters are certainly happy to do, especially if it can all go face. Aimed Shot is a nice way to buff up your hero power on a previous turn so that you can do a little extra damage on your combo turn without spending additional mana. However, if you want to pull off this achievement in Standard, you're going to need a copy of the questline. There are quite a few builds of Standard Questline Hunter, and most of the builds on HS Replay are touting a 50% or higher win rate. We won't be covering one of those here, but I'll link one of the stronger ones in the description. The deck we used to complete this achievement was this Cycle Quest deck from one of our viewers, Latwi. Sadly, most of our damage went into minions rather than face, but totally demolishing our token druid opponent's board was sufficient to force a concede from them immediately after we finished the achievement. Though, if you want to knock this out even easier, head over to Wild and play this Questing Like Clockwork Hunter. With Baku the Moon Eater giving you a base 3 damage hero power, you just need 4 hits with your questline reward hero power. Or just 2 shots with Clockwork Automaton on board will do it. We got a little greedy and decided to wait until we could do 18 damage in a turn with this. But there are a number of options to put together at least 12 damage in a turn quite handily with this deck. Though, if you don't have the questline, you can certainly still pull off this achievement in Wild. This Arrows Like Clockwork deck still runs Aimed Shot and includes Clockwork Automaton, but it also runs Blackwalled Pixie. It can be a bit tricky to pull together what you need over the course of a game, but you have quite a few options here as well. You could play 2 copies of Aimed Shot to charge up your hero power and drop Clockwork Automaton, dealing 14 damage. Or you could drop a Clockwork Automaton, hero power, Blackwalled Pixie, and hero power again. However, if you go that route, as you can see here, you need to play the tour guide the turn before to have enough mana. The same goes for double Clockwork hero power for a cool 12 damage. All of these combos except the Aimed Shot prep into Clockwork require 10 mana to pull off, so you'll have to hope your opponent is playing a slow deck. Though, if you use most of the burn in the deck to control the board, there's a good chance you can stay alive long enough to combo out. Best of luck dealing insane damage with your hero power. And that's a wrap. If you found this helpful, drop a like. By defending this guide's achievement, you can help this video take the high ground, so that others looking to conquer these achievements can knock them down. We've got guides lined up for the rest of the United in Stormwind achievements as well, so check back soon or subscribe because Master Marksman can tell something amazing is on the horizon. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy participating in experiments live, check out our stream at twitch.tv/SSAlchemist. We currently stream on Saturdays and Sundays. And remember, you're awesome. Thank you for watching and have an awesome day.